And that is why you don't get plastic surgery from people that you find on QVC. You don't like that Wayne's World commercial in the Super Bowl is one of the most disturbing things we have seen in a long time.
Is that why?
I don't know, but I'm just saying, just don't get plastic surgery when you're that cool of a dude. When you've been Shrek and Mike. Anyway, so Brian May, we think he is probably one of the greatest guitar players to ever live.
Yes.
I'd say in the world of rock and roll, maybe one of the most important guitar players that a lot of young players don't quite get, we'd say, but
I think that's true.
But they're getting it now. That's the thing. It's because we have more guys and girls coming to the guitar shop that everyone knows Queen now. That was not the case when I was a kid.
Do you think it was the recent movie?
I don't know, and I don't know if that many kids saw that movie. I think that was more like nostalgic type trackers like me and you going to like, oh, like I love Mr. Robot too. I want to see him be Freddie Mercury, even though I would have liked to see Sacha Baron Cohen be Freddie Mercury too. That was in the works as well, and then he got booted. But no, Brian May is his guitar playing. We were just talking about this morning as we were prepping for some other videos, and like he's such a different guitar player.
He is.
In his works, he's obviously brilliant in his playing, and he's brilliant in his mind. We can get into like why you should just like be like him, just to go get like 15 doctorates or however many he has.
Super genius. And a guitar player.
It's his playing is. We were saying he's not like a normal guitar player. He's almost like a violinist.
It's very like lines, like compositional.
And that's something that like I was attracted to that as a young guitar player, and that's sort of how I wrote within my group sometimes, is not just like hitting power chords the whole way. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Ramones obsessee and a Sex Pistols junkie too. But Brian, he wrote these lines that were so singable.
Yes.
Yet so hard. And like you can't just like pick them up and like riff them immediately.
I remember as a young guitar player trying to learn some of those things.
They don't make sense.
And I was just like, no, did not work.
Because like when you put him with, Freddie and like Freddie's composition skills, like it's another one of those like John and Ringo combination.
It's just like the old John and Ringo team.
I love you, Paul. Sir Paul, you're my favorite in the world, obviously. But I was like, John and Ringo, the best duo in history. No, but like, you put those two cats though, Freddie and Brian, like, because Freddie writes in this theatrical, amazing, sort of over the top, like the Greatest Showman aspect.
Right.
Which I love that movie. If your kids haven't seen it,
it's really good.
Watch it now. It's amazing. There's elephants and fire and Hugh Jackman, Wolverine. Anyway, but that theatrical element in a very pianistic way, it's all written on piano from his aspect for the most part. And then you enter in this crazy linear guitar playing that's not like it's not linear in the way that we have our Instagram artists today.
Right.
It's not like linear in a showy offy way. It services the song 100%. Yeah. Like that's all it's there for. There might not even be guitar in the song until then it's just bam, it's there. I want somebody to love like that. That's one of those great Queen hits. There's guitar in there, but it's to service the piano and to service the vocals. Then that guitar solo is like, what just happened?
Right.
And of course, Bohemian Rhapsody, that puts pretty much every epic guitar song to rest. We can go down like Zeppelin and Stairway, and which is amazing, and all the Rush and all the Yes. But I'm gonna say Bohemian Rhapsody might be the king of theatrical, epic songs.
I mean, that song has like movements. Do you know what I mean? It's like listening to a classical piece.
It's like Mozart.
And then you put it in Wayne's World.
You have your exposition, your development, your recapitulation. Like, wait, Baxter knows classical sonata form? Oh my gosh, I like classical music.
I have no idea what words he's saying.
I'm an opera junkie too, so like you can start throwing out some weird things. Like I remember when I was in Salzburg over there, like I paid so much money just to go see a Mozart opera. It was the Magic Flute. Which is not my favorite Mozart opera. Don't worry, any of you opera snobs out there. That's one of my least favorites of his opera masterpiece. But it was in that. It was in the same theater where they did the End of the Sound of Music with all the kids singing to the Nazis. It's the back of the theater is built into the mountain. It's a giant cave. It's amazing.
Who knew you were such a man of culture?
I'm not culture.
You're peeling back the curtain for the YouTube world.
I know. I like opera's sort of my jam sometimes, man.
What?
Give me some Figaro. That's my Mozart jam. But anyway, I look at Brian May's composition is like he's not it's not classical in the boring snoozy way. It's like
No.
and Mozart wasn't boring snoozy at all either. It's almost like there's a sense of humor in his writing too, which. And the fact that you can go back and watch these videos from that was 10 years ago with like My Chemical Romance and Brian May sitting in with them for the Black Parade. Like you can listen to their lines are so obviously
I was gonna
derived
say we talked about that
from.
when I was not familiar with them, and you played it for me. I was like, this sounds like Brian May.
If they say they didn't know who Brian May was, I'd be like, you're lying. There's certain bands that do that. We've never listened to them. I'm like was that the one that says they never listened to Led Zeppelin?
Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, or something. Didn't they say that at some point? It's like, no,
I think they did.
That's not really an inspiration. I'm like, okay.
That's a whole nother video.
It's just like it's okay. I'm inspired by everything I listen to. Like Justin Bieber's an inspiration in some ways. Because when we watched we were talking about the whole Billy Joe thing when he got mad at the iHeart Music Festival and smashed his guitar. And that's a whole other video as well. But and then he's like, I'm not Justin Bieber. I'm like, but Justin Bieber's pretty amazing, and the fact that he's still super relevant and is and like his last song, "Lonely," that he did, that's a great song. Anyway, sorry.
So let's talk about Brian May's tone.
Oh yes, I was hoping we'd get into that.
Some players have like an iconic Les Paul tone or an iconic Telly tone, but Brian May was like, not me. I'll build my own guitar. I'll use Vox AC30s and like blow them up because they're cranked.
So let's just do a little side story on his tone, like just to show how much I'm into Brian May's tone. So they made this Brian May limited edition amp just for
Yes, they did.
a few years, and it's just a red. There's one sitting behind us. One of those is a Brian May one. So Jonathan was playing a gig in what were you in Indiana? And he was coming back to North Carolina. I was like, hey, do you mind making a slight detour and going to Carter's and picking up this amp for me?
And I was like, sure, it's right on the. Oh wait, no.
I did pay you a little bit to do it, but it's still like, and it gave you more time away from your family.
Right, it's absolutely what I'm always looking for.
But no, but Brian May's tone, so I have it sitting back there. It's awesome. It's so loud and obnoxious.
I would have picked it up just because it's cool.
And this one's been modded too. It's got this sort of special mod where it's been juiced up even further to where there's just more signal and direct signal path, and it's just there's nothing. Just volume. It's loud. But Brian May
it's
tone.
So dumb, but it's so cool.
No, he has a tone like the Red Special.
It's him.
Yeah, I mean.
And all the switches, man, like, you have to be a physicist to know how to.
Well, just like and we know all the greatest hits, like Hammer to Fall, like that's not like a greatest hits for a lot of the younger players out there. But that's like that Brian May guitar tone. Yeah. Like go listen to that. Down. It's fun to play if you learn it. It's so much fun. It's one of the most fun Queen songs to play because most are like, Jesus, what am I doing? What scale is this? I don't know. Just learn the notes. Here's the tab. But no, his tone is it's a wall of Vox AC30s. Yep. He is like the Vox sound to me. It's not the Beatles as much as like Brian May figured it out. Like, this is it, and that it's got a very mid-range push. It sings like a violin.
Yes.
But it has this control of the feedback that's really unique. It's not like a Marshall Plexi.
It's totally different sound.
Yeah. The opposite. It doesn't have an Americana sound. It's almost otherworldly to me. It's because I think of Marshall Plexis, British, Fender, Tweed, and Blackface American. Vox and Brian May. Vox is British, but then Vox and Brian May is like this.
Like that, he doesn't even really compare to other Vox tones. I think of he created such a unique. Like it's him. It is Brian May.
No, I mean this is what my mind did because we were talking about Labyrinth earlier. It was it's like Labyrinth and Fraggle Rock. It's like that's Brian May. I
used to love Fraggle Rock.
It's an amazing show. He created this universe of his own tone and it works within how he plays.
It does.
And then and it doesn't work within every type of setting because
No.
it's such a powerful tone. But when you hit those chords, it's just that it's so different than a Marshall or a Fender sound. It's got the chime, but not that Beatles bell chimey thing, or even some like the sort of Rickenbacker Vox combos that you hear. It is, and it's amazing, and
it's pretty amazing.
We would love for you to just take people to take their time, go through all of his stuff, all of his pieces, from the beginning of Queen to the end of Queen, into the continuation and into some of his works outside of that. It's rather daunting.
Daunting's a good word.
Well, it is because I remember everyone's like, "Oh, I don't know that Queen song." I'm like, "But you can't," because it's not it takes work. Like I can show you I can show you a Poison song like in 5 seconds. I can not the solo CC DeVille. God bless you. You're amazing. God rest your soul. You're not dead. You're
But the other sections, yes.
yeah. But like a Queen song is like, well, this is probably in the key of like B flat minor, or like, and it's going to be awkward, and then there's going to be piano driven. Then there's going to be this guitar part at the end that you have to play these few lines for. But it's cool when you see kids come in and play the Bohemian Rhapsody solos.
Super cool.
They don't do it well, but they do it.
But they do it.
And they get through the notes. And then it's neat when you can explain to them, when I see that, I'm like, hey, you're actually playing this X, Y, and Z scales.
And that's when their face goes blank.
Until they're a little bit older and they're 12. And they're like, oh, maybe I do older at 12. I'm sorry. You have to start young in this game. At least it's not like violin. Like you got to start like in the fetus.
I always really loved Killer Queen. That's the one I always worked on when I was learning.
That song's a nightmare.
I know. That's why I could never do it. I need to go back and learn it now.
Yeah, like go listen to Killer Queen after you finish. That song doesn't
So
make
cool.
any sense.
No, it's awesome.
We all know Bohemian. We all know Another One Bites the Dust and like things like that. And Under Pressure, again, another amazing.
Ice, ice, baby.
Exactly. If you're a Vanilla Ice fan, which I am as well, and I think that guy got a bad rap, and his Home Improvement show is great.
He just made a few bad decisions.
It wasn't him. It was the society of the time, just kind of like barrel on top. And when Arsenio Hall like sort of like guerrilla attacked him, like he did some guerrilla warfare and like jumped.
I mean, yeah.
That was a sneaky interview there. I've watched that recently. I have a lot of.
I'll
weird...
have to give it another review.
No, but anyway, so Under Pressure. We all know this, but yeah, Killer Queen is.
Oh, it's so cool.
Loverboy is one of my favorites too.
That's a good one.
I think my wife actually like prepared a choreographed dance just to that song for our own giggles. It wasn't for anything. We like worked out a dance, and we hired a dance teacher.
What?
To teach us like, oh, love it. We did the whole thing. Like we were like waltzing. They were like doing a little shimmy and then a little can or whatever.
Christy Robinson, the bar has been raised. We're gonna have to choreograph our own dance.
We were in a Lindy Hop competition, my wife and I, at one point. It was really fun, and I was like,
I don't even know if I know what that is.
it's like Brian Setzer type music.
Okay,
like,
all right, there we go.
When you're like throwing her through your legs, and I have to do it through little flips and stuff.
We used to pretend to do that in our kitchen. I would just throw her around.
Well, Taylor's like, yeah, I could throw her around really easily. She's a little person, yeah. But yeah, I almost killed her multiple times because I'm not very strong. It's like whoop, drop, boom, and she's dead. I'm sorry. That was the end of my wife. My 3 children are not existent. It's a different timeline. No, I don't know what we're talking about. I think we're talking about
Brian May.
Brian May, the
but I
guitar
feel
player.
like talking about the multiverse with Brian May, since he is like an astrophysicist.
He doesn't make sense.
No,
he is a conundrum to all these guitar players that are just completely burnouts and like just laying on their couch like playing like PlayStation 2 for some reason still.
Brian May.
No, he's like probably sitting in a room with Elon Musk, and he has like a direct connection to J.R.R. Tolkien's like disembodied soul somewhere. They're writing prose together in another language they're creating because Tolkien did that. No, but
you're saying that Brian May's the brain behind Tesla? Really?
I think so.
You heard it here first.
I think he created the
That's not true.
Well, Tesla had some great songs. See how I just took that?
It all comes full circle. Only here. Only on the Casino Channel.
When I met that guitar player from Tesla, that was one of my favorite moments in NAMM ever.
And then he just was like, "Oh yeah, here's my song that you learned when you were a kid, probably."
And he's the nicest dude ever.
He was really,
dude. That's
really nice.
I mean, God, he was so good.
We'll have to do a video on him.
We had like weird. He's like that's a phenomenal guitar player, and we had these weird father stories we could share, and it was like, man, it's cool.
It was a moment.
I didn't know my dad till I was 7 either. It's like bonding. Like, I love this guy. I thought you were an engineer when I first met you, and you turned out to be the guitar player from Tesla. That's even better. But but Brian May is the greatest thing ever. I love him.
What is wrong with us?
No, it's been a long day, and we have to go back to the guitar shop, I think, because no one else is here except for us. But we're just hanging out talking about videos and things. But
So what do you guys think about Brian May? Let us know in the comments.
Unless you don't like him, then I don't really want to hear because that's insane.
That's ridiculous.
You're an insane person. You shouldn't have access to the internet. That's my opinion.
You heard it here. Lots of firsts here today.
Brian May, I'm hitting that golf shot to the hole with the flag in it. You're the best.
Yeah. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell for more ridiculous things that we will say in the near future.
And do.
Thank you guys. Talk to you soon.
Bye.